My name is Lindsay McLeod Garcia. This is my first clinical education for nursing 444 at Indiana State University. I'm starting a youth or teen safety program, and there will be a series of different YouTube videos that can be accessed for that. The first one we're going to do is helmet safety. My objective for this is to use technology to reach teenagers, to show them and educate them how a helmet fits, signs of a concussion, what the different helmets are for, and how a helmet works. There are some additional apps that I will give at the end that they can download on their phone to make it an easy, quick reference. So again, welcome to my PowerPoint and video on proper helmet use. Before we get started, go ahead and go to the link in the description and take the pretest to see what you know already about helmet use and concussions, and then listen to this series and look at it. It is geared towards teenagers, the education on the proper helmet use for the right activity, teaching how to make sure a helmet fits right, and what to watch for if you suspect that there is a head injury. We'll go over everything, and then we'll take a post-test at the end. Looking at some facts from the U.S. Department of Transportation's website on injuries from bicycles and skateboarding. In 2007, skateboarding head injuries that were sent to the hospital were 16,477. In 2018, bicyclists killed in the United States were 857. Falls are the most common cause of injury, but usually if it involves a car and a bike, then those are the most serious ones. It doesn't matter what helmet you're wearing, there is nothing that will prevent a concussion if you were to hit your head hard enough to get one. And you can't always use the same helmet for all activities. There are ones that are specified for certain things, and we'll go over that later in this slideshow. First, we'll look at concussions, and this information is from the CDC's Heads Up website. So what is a concussion? It's a jolt, bump, or blow to the head or hit to the body that causes the brain to move too quickly inside your skull, either back and forth, and it can cause damage chemically and physically to the brain as it hits against the skull. There's only so much cushion around it. So if you think that you have a concussion, you should always have a healthcare provider assess and not just assume that it's fine, because some of the signs and symptoms do not show up right away, and it can take hours or days to develop some of them. It's always better to be safe than sorry and err on the side of caution. You don't want to have something serious happen and you not go in and then get the medical attention that is needed. So typical signs and symptoms are forgetfulness, slow to respond, loss of consciousness, even if brief, can happen, changes in mood, behavior, personality, can't recall anything before or after the injury. Your vision might see double, or it might be blurry. There might be some nausea and vomiting. Balance might be off, and dizziness. Lights and sounds might bother you. Some confusion, complaints of just not feeling right or feeling down. If you have one pupil that is larger than the other, you're unable to wake up the person, the headache is just getting worse or not going away, there's changes in your speech, it's slurred, there's seizures that start occurring, unusual behaviors, confusion isn't getting any better, and with any loss of consciousness, you need to seek medical attention right away. They can then assess you and see what's going on. So now let's look at how to make sure you're getting a helmet that will fit you. First, you need to be there when the helmet's being bought so it can be tried on. I know a lot of the times parents will pick out the helmets and things like that without their teen with them, and so you end up getting what you think, or they'll have an idea they want to look a certain way, and really they need to be there so it can be fitted to them, because not all helmets are created the same. So you can use a soft measuring tape or a string to measure, to make sure you're getting the right size. Different brands of helmets have different sizing, so you need to make sure to read on there what their sizing is in relation to what your measurements are. And the final thing is to wear your hair how you're going to have it when you're wearing the helmet. If you go from having a lot of hair to shorter hair, then it impacts how the helmet fits, and you need to make changes to it to adjust for that. So now you have your helmet, you're ready to adjust it to fit your head. So you need to remember that a helmet should fit snugly, and a lot of the times there's foam or padding on the inside, and there should be no spaces between that foam and padding and your head. Ask, how does the helmet feel? Does it feel like it's going to give you a headache? Is it rubbing anywhere, hurting anywhere? The front of the helmet should sit at your eyebrow level, and the back of it should not be touching your neck in any way. Make sure that your vision isn't impaired. Can you see things on the side? You know, a lot of times, especially when you're riding and there's vehicles and you're riding in traffic, you know, making sure that you can see all of your surroundings to keep you safe while you're out there. The straps on the side should form a V under and slightly in front of your ears. The chin strap needs to be centered at your chin and tight enough that maybe you can put 1 or 2 fingers between it. And when you're doing that, when you open your mouth, the helmet shouldn't move in any way. It should be positioned snugly enough on your head that if you were to fall, you don't want it to be able to move, because then it's not able to protect your head correctly and put you at risk for an injury if something were to happen. When looking at how to care for your helmet so it remains safe, one thing that I didn't realize is you shouldn't leave your helmet in your car. The temperatures can affect it and make it not work appropriately, can cause it to crack. You don't want anything that's broken or missing. I know it's easy to think that it's easier to keep in your car, so it's readily available and you won't forget it next time you're going out, but it really can affect it. Again, you don't want any missing parts. Don't lean or sit on your helmet. Don't decorate it with stickers or other embellishments, because it will affect how the helmet works. That it's been designed that if it takes an impact, it's supposed to slide to prevent injury. And if you have things on it, it can prevent it. It can stop it so that it does not have that sliding effect. You want to wash it with warm soapy water only. Don't ever soak it or use strong cleaners in it. The way that a helmet works is the padding inside the helmet, even inside the plastic part of it, that takes on the impact that would otherwise go to your brain and head. So bicycle helmets are made to only take one major hit. The padding inside can be affected, so it doesn't protect you the same way if there's additional falls. On the other hand, skateboard helmets are made to make multiple minor hits because of how they're made. So that shows that bicycle helmets and skateboard helmets are not the same thing, and they shouldn't be worn interchangeably for those activities. They do make a multi-purpose helmet that you can use, and these are made to take multiple minor hits. But if something is serious, then they're no longer safe to use either, but they can be used interchangeably for the different activities. You don't want a helmet that has a mohawk or horns or any of those things. I know you see them now in the store and they look cooler, but they do impact the sliding effect of that helmet so that they are not as effective. Bicycle helmets can be used for bicycling, like roller skating and mopeds, you know, the razor scooters, things like that, not mopeds, not anything that is like a motorcycle kind of thing. So you can use those interchangeably, but not for using a skateboard. Then you should really just have either a multi-purpose helmet or your own skateboarding helmet. So helmets have to be certified for use. You want to make sure that it's certified by the U.S. Safety Commission. Other companies like ASTM, Snell, or it might have an ANSI certification. It just means that it has met those organization safety measures. Skateboard helmets should also have a NOC SAE standards met, and those mean that they're tested and they meet the appropriate recommendations for safety and are registered to be used without and to help prevent injury to your head. So now that we've reached the end of our presentation, go ahead and take the PostTest that's in the link. It's the same as the Pretest you took before, and see how your answers have changed. It's important right now, especially when people are isolated and things have kind of slowed down a little bit. If you notice that bicycles and those kinds of things are more sold out, then the need for education on helmet safety is important. And remembering that they cannot prevent a concussion, even with the greatest technology, that is something that can still happen. And everyone should wear a helmet. You only have one brain, and it's important to keep it safe. It's not worth it to chance it at all. There are some apps that you can download from the CDC as part of their Heads Up program. Then that helps with concussion education. There's a 3D helmet fit, and it gives safety and care instructions for your helmet. So I look forward to seeing you guys on my next presentation as we continue with our teen series that we're working with. Thanks.